What's going on, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue. I hope you guys are all having a great day today. I had the day off for the MLK holiday and finally got to check out Glass. And if you've been following this channel for any sort of time now, you probably know that Glass was one of my most anticipated movies for 2019. I absolutely loved the two previous movies in this trilogy. So actually, I digress. Split, I thought was okay. The ending was incredible, and the ending is what actually got me to go back to Unbreakable, and that was released, I think, 1999. Finally checked that out, and I absolutely loved Unbreakable. So when this movie came out, I was really hyped to see it. Only got to see it now, but I know there has been negative buzz surrounding this movie, and I heard the negative buzz. I didn't really check out any reviews, but I heard the negative buzz, tempered my expectations going to this movie, and just right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and say I like this movie, guys. You guys may have a different opinion, and that's okay. I'll tell you why I enjoyed it, and I can definitely sympathize with those who didn't like it because of a lot of reasons, and we'll get into some of those, but I want to keep this review non-spoiler. I won't do a spoiler review unless people really want to see it, but I think doing a non-spoiler review will be fine. It's definitely a movie that you should check out if you've seen both the two previous movies, and don't see the movie if you haven't, because it'll be a little confusing. So I think this movie was burdened by expectations. I had expectations going into this movie, and this movie, like a lot of M. Night Shyamalan movies, goes in a few different directions. Definitely gives us a few different twists to think about during the movie, and I thought that was great. So right off the bat, this movie in the first act starts off very strong, introducing us to both David Dunn and Kevin Wendell Crumb and what they've been up to. David Dunn has actually been teaming up with his son from the first movie, and I think it's the same actor as well. He teamed up with his son, and he's pursuing this. He's doing this crime fighting thing. He's definitely become a vigilante. He's known on the social media and on things like YouTube in the movie. So he's definitely developed a reputation. I forgot what they actually call him in the movie. I remember one of the jokes was the Tiptoe Man or something like that. But he is doing his thing. He is running a successful business, but it is a front for him and the vigilante activities that he is doing. The Beast is up to his what he was doing in Split. He's up to no good for sure. He's continuing the terror that he was doing on people he felt that were unpure, I guess. So. It really sets up these two characters nicely, and it feels like we don't get introduced to the title character, Mr. Glass, until late in the movie, actually. So for a while, it actually feels like this movie's more of a Split movie, or more of the Beast, a movie about the Beast. So actually, I got to point out too, throughout this movie, James McAvoy puts out one of the greatest performances ever. I am not kidding you. His performance was absolutely incredible. All of the different personalities, if you thought he was great in Split, he turns it up a notch in this movie, giving us all a taste and fleshing out even more all of these characters that are living within inside of him, and he is absolutely amazing. If not for anything, if you didn't love any of the previous movies, watching the movie just for his performance, absolutely worth your money. All right, let's get back into it. The second act starts a little bit more slower. I feel like the movie has a mixed in tone between both Split and Unbreakable. Starts off and ends with more of a Split vibe, and in the middle, in between, is more of the Unbreakable vibe. It's a little more slow, takes its time to tell its story and flesh out Mr. Glass a little bit more as a character, but more so his overarching plan. If you know Mr. Glass's character, he always has an overarching plan, and I thought it was done really well. A lot of what I heard about the negativity going into this movie was actually the third act, and I could see where people would really heavily criticize it. This movie definitely it goes full comic book in a lot of different ways, and I think it's a good thing. You know, I think Unbreakable was a little bit more grounded in reality. Now I understand that these things are not possible, but it felt like it could be possible. I mean, if you watch those movies and Split, they felt like real world movies in which something miraculous happened and it was totally a miracle. This movie goes a little bit more towards the comic book end of things, and it really embraces Mr. Glass's comic book references. It actually kind of hits you over the head with them a little bit more than it did in Unbreakable. I thought it was really done really well in Unbreakable, but because Mr. Glass, the movie is about him for the most part, it really dives deep into the comic book lore and some of the comic book tropes, common comic book tropes. And I thought it was cool. I actually enjoyed it. Again, if you haven't seen the first two movies, it might really throw you off. I think there were two things that I didn't really enjoy in this movie. I didn't really like David Dunn's son. As a as a whole, I didn't like him. I didn't like his performances in a lot of scenes, and I didn't like the girl from Split. I forget the actress's name. I feel like she was okay. She served one purpose in the movie, and I thought, that purpose was, I was okay with it, but I just thought it wasn't the strongest performances. There's some plot holes for sure, but I feel like you have to kind of suspend some disbelief in watching these type of movies, especially given it goes full comic book. It is a comic book movie, so a lot of people will find some things dumb. But if you try to remember that this movie, what it's trying to do, I think you can forgive it for any plot holes that you might find, and just have fun with it. The story definitely is intriguing, and I think it did enough to keep everyone in the theater intrigued, at least from what I could see, and it definitely had me hooked. Now the third act is where it gets a little bit over the top, and a lot of people criticize M. Night Shyamalan for going over the top and absolutely reaching in his movies. And again, he does that in this movie, and I'm a sympathizer for M. Night Shyamalan. I don't like all of his movies by any means, but I do enjoy how he swings for the fences in a lot of these movies. I do like a lot of his movies. People really criticize him for going too hard or reaching too hard with his endings, and this is no different. Like, there are at least a few different twists or plot twists and revelations or aha moments, whatever you want to call them. There's a few of them in this movie, and I thought they were done really well. I thought the flashback scenes were done to perfection. I thought it definitely they really further emphasized the bigger picture of this movie, and I really enjoyed that. What I didn't enjoy was the endings, or the how the characters ended. Actually, I didn't really enjoy how all of the characters their stories ended in this movie. But when I look back, I was thinking about it in the car ride home. If you think about Mr. Glass as a character, it totally makes sense how this movie ends. But I think it probably could have been done in different ways. But again, that's me. If I was to criticize the movie for that, that's me. That's me like forcing my expectations on this movie. Instead, I took the movie for what it was, and I enjoyed it. I don't agree or I don't like how some of the stories ended where the characters are at by the end of the movie for some of them. But I did enjoy the movie as a whole. James McAvoy's performance was amazing. Again, I can't emphasize that enough. You guys should definitely check this movie out just for that alone. But if you were expecting for M. Night Shyamalan to completely stick the landing, I'm not sure if he did. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good movie. It's not my favorite movie, and it probably is not going to be my favorite movie of 2019, but I definitely enjoyed it. So yeah, that's my review for Glass. I want to know what you guys thought of the movie. If you did see it, definitely drop a comment in the comment box down below. Keep it non-spoiler just in case some people still want to watch it. Give this video a like if you can. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.